I didn't mean to do it. It was a huge accident. I wasn't even getting into my vehicle's brakes fixed while I was driving. An old man I assume was a hitchhiker raced out in front of my car, apparently to catch my attention and make me stop. Oh, and I tried. I tried so hard. I kept pressing the brake pedal and there was no response. I stomped on the pedal, forcing it down as hard as I could and hoped that man would foolishly dart out in front of my car would still be alive. By the time the car had stopped, that sinking feeling in my stomach, I had just killed a man. He seemed to fill the space between my ears like it was when I was a child, and knew that I had been caught doing something wrong. A far distance from the halted vehicle, I saw the man. His tattered clothes suggested that he may have been homeless, and his heavy breathing could only put the idea in my head that he was in great pain. I approached him. I ran to ask him if he was okay. A smile tugs at the corner of his lips and grows into a mad grin. He laughs, but it's unnerving and unsettling. Blood begins to drip from his mouth, and his insane cackles slowly turn into coughs. He speaks in a hoarse and rattling dying breath. "For so long, I have wanted this pain to end. Now it's yours." A serene smile crept over his blood-stained face as his eyes glazed over with the vacant look of death. I shook him, trying to get him to wake up. I offered to take him to the hospital, but it was too late. His last breath had left him, and I took his dying words as ramblings of a madman. But oh, how wrong I was. Who would I tell about this? The idea of just leaving him out there to have his bones picked clean by wild animals and vultures disturbed me. I pulled the sleeves over my jacket over my hands as to not touch the body. Who knows, he could have been diseased. Whipping my cellular phone out of my pocket, I dialed 911. "Hello, 911? I found a body on the roadside. It appears to be a man in his 60s or 70s. No, I don't know who it was that I hit. I really hated lying, but going to jail wasn't on my agenda. You need me to stay here? Okay, that's not a problem." So much as that hot date at 9 p.m., I then realized I needed to clean my vehicle off in case there was any traces of blood on it. Fortunately, I had some of those Clorox wipes in the trunk, partially because a friend that borrowed the car recently had a nasty flu, and I wasn't interested in catching. Wiping off the front of my automobile, just in case, I felt relief. The police and ambulance showed up only to tell me that they found no body, and it was most likely a trick of the light. My eyes shifted to the location where the man had been. I only see one thing: a thick layer of dust that was lying where he once was. Was it all just a trick? That was impossible. I felt the car hit him. I hit him in my arms, and his soul faded from existence. But then there was a strange feeling that began to overcome me. I felt so alive, so awake. Everything seemed so fresh and new, and it felt like it all belonged to me. For that moment, the world was mine. No, I couldn't let anyone know. They'd think I was insane. I took it as a rush of endorphins from the relief I felt. Only agreed with the officers, saying that I had been watching too many scary movies or reading too many frightening books, only to laugh lightheartedly. Most of them shook their heads at me as if I were a fool and returned to their vehicles. I got back in my car and resumed getting the brakes fixed as planned. Life continued as usual. I felt that faint and grandeur didn't left me yet. I always felt great, at least for a good while. I got married to a good person of my dreams. I lived in a nice house. Everything was wonderful. The thoughts of that man were soon pushed to the back of my mind as so many good things had come to chase away the nightmares. But only years later, I did begin to notice some oddities. The attractive person I married was slowly growing gray and haggard. I looked no different than I did on my wedding day. Years went by and I didn't change. My spouse suggested I had good genetics, but I knew there had to be more than that. Only I did realize that the old man had cursed me. After I hit him, he had crumbled to dust minutes afterwards. Years continued and my spouse began to fear me. Rumors spread about me being a vampire or immortal, but most of these things were just laughed off. Others said I might have been in the subject of some life extension project, and that's how I managed to afford such a nice house. Rumors circulated more and more with the passing of seasons. My spouse left me. I went to the funeral, not looking a day older, but I was shunned by the family. People began to avoid me as I was treated as if I carried the plague. There was only one choice. I had to move on. At this point, I was making plenty of money and finding a new job wouldn't be hard. I hoped countries multiple times and suggested with their decisions remarry. I met so many charming people, but I didn't want to see them deteriorate from their youthful beauty to nothing more than a frail gray husks. I wanted to keep some of them, I did, only to know the grief to come. I kept them until they shriveled away into no more than skin and bone, buried beneath the ground in caskets. I fell apart more and more. My heart would ache, only to desperately reach out for love again. My Apora was slowly being replaced by misery and depression each day. All I loved would die. All I see would suffer from my eventual destruction. My life was a vessel filled with nothing more than despair. It had become a painful cycle. I would do anything in my power to numb the pain. I turned to drug use. I turned to prostitution and tried to simply fuck away with the pain. I tried to kill myself only to realize that nothing worked. Any attempts to only resulted in scars that would seal up as if they were never seen. Disease didn't harm me. Nothing hurt me except for the loss of everything I'd grown to love. The only solution would be complete solitude. I locked myself away and shattered everything I could see a cursed reflection in that ageless reflection, that God-forsaken reflection. After all this, I realized that the old man meant he wanted to die. He wanted to end his misery. Immorality is just not so glamorous after all. But after hearing my tale, do you still want it? Do you still want to go through what I have? I only believe the only thing to be able to kill an immortal of my nature is the act of murder. Please have mercy. Please kill me.
What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Ms. Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please stay pretty.